Good afternoon. Today we are going to make koftas, and the kofta means it's a meatball. It's a fancy meatball. I was trying to come up with the translation. And it is meatballs cooked in a gravy, and I'm going to try and do this a little differently today too. So I'm going to do two recipes, one for regular kofta and one is slightly different. This recipe is actually for about 3 pounds of ground meat. I have beef. Doesn't have to be beef. I do it with chicken, do it with lamb or ground up goat, turkey, whatever. You just need some ground meat. So 3 pounds. But the recipe that I write down will be for 1 pound. So for 3 pounds is 3 slices of bread and then 4 onions. And these onions are going to be divided into 3 categories. Sliced onions, ground up onions, and ground up onions which will go in the gravy, and ground up onions which will go inside the meatballs. So let me start prepping and then we'll come back.
Ready.
So I'm grinding my onion and I just threw my bread in it and I'm just going to blend it all together. This is going to go inside the koftas, which are the meatballs. So I have my mom with me. The koftas are Ammi's mom, Ammi's speciality. This is her signature dish. So I figured I will make it while she is here and she can tell us exactly what to do, because as far as she's concerned, I don't make it right. So here goes. The onions are ready. Let's have a look. Ammi, dekhi pyaz ho gayi hai na? Main nikal lu? Okay. I'm going to spoon all these fried onions out, and they are going to be cooked. So this onions are mostly out, and then we are going to add in the ground onions. I'm adding the ground up onions, and I'll have the proportions in the recipe. And we will start making the gravy. Meanwhile, 3 slices of bread, any kind of bread works. Sourdough, brown bread, seeded bread, doesn't matter. So 3 slices of bread, and then there's some ground onions in there, and then I'm adding in almost 3 pounds of meat. Okay? And then we'll add in some green pepper and some cilantro to it. And that's all in the mix with a little bit of spices. We'll go over that. So I have, I'm going to give you the proportions for one pound of meat. So this is 1 teaspoon of coriander and 1/3 teaspoon of red pepper, 1 cardamom, and about less than 2/3 of a teaspoon of salt. So 3 spices that is going to go in my curry. I'm going to add it in now. So my gravy is cooking, and I'm just going to add just a pinch of turmeric. That's it. Those are my spices. Just cook it all down. I've added 1 teaspoon of ginger and 1 teaspoon of garlic for my curry. And then mix it all together and then let it cook down. One jalapeno. She wants me to chop it really fine. Why is it that moms are never happy with what she does? Never satisfied, huh? Abhi cut. Okay, so we have our chopped jalapeno, and I'm going to add it to the meatballs. And what else goes in the meatball? You obviously add some garlic and ginger. Can't have anything completed without our desi food, without garlic and ginger.
Yeah, super.
So I have this spice that Ami makes it. I don't make it, but I have the recipe. It is made from poppy seeds and chana, which I don't have a translation for, but I'll look it up. And then the black elaichi, badi elaichi. It's
Black,
called the badi elaichi.
black cardamom or something
Black
like that.
cardamom, something like that.
इस तरह डाल देना अच्छा
ठीक है, कितना?
डाल
3 डलेगा ना?
4 डालेंगे बस.
So you can do 1 heaping spoon for each pound. So I have added the 1 slice of bread per pound of meat, and then some ground up onions and 1 teaspoon of the spices, and I'll give you the mix for it, and a little bit of salt and pepper, green pepper and cilantro, and then now I'm adding yogurt. I'll add it with a regular spoon. So we can
डालेंगे एक पाउंड का हुआ है.
Okay, so it's going to be 2 spoons per pound.
2 पाउंड.
That's a total of 6 then.
बस.
Okay, so 2 teaspoons per pound. Mix it all together, and then we start making the balls. So meanwhile, Ami is mixing this. I'm going to go and blend my fried up onions. Now, if you were doing it in a traditional way, what people would do is they would spread this onion out and they would manually just make it into a fine paste, literally, because it's so fried up, so crispy. But to do that, you need to add a lot of oil. Tons of more oil than what I added. So this is my cheat.
Okay.
So we are making the balls. I'm making them, she's fixing them. And you can make them as big or as small as you like.
Okay.
So I am adding my yogurt. It's homemade yogurt. All I did was I just blended it with a spoon to make sure that it was not lumpy. That's it.
Okay.
You know, it smells pretty good.
Yeah.
ले लो. हटा दूँगा.
Okay, you're on.
So there are 3 or 4 ways of making these koftas. This is the standard kofta recipe. Now people may have heard the dish called Nargisi kofta. That's a little bit different than this. It does not have the ground up meat like this. It has it's more of a Shami kebab masala, and you hard boil an egg and then you cover it and you make it. You have it in a similar gravy, but the meat mixture is different, and that's Nargisi kofta. And then there's another version which some people call Shahi Koftas, which is exactly the same mixture, but you have a hard-boiled egg inside it, and it's called the Shahi Kofta. And then for people who don't want to make the effort, because it is a lot of work to take these hard-boiled an egg and then stuff the hard-boiled egg in it, they just would add the hard-boiled egg to the gravy just like that. So it would be a hard-boiled egg with the kofta. That's another version of it. So this is our basic. I'm going to take the same mixture and I'm going to roll it up in a hard-boiled egg and add 1 kofta to it, just to show you how that's done. So I'm going to make one kofta, which is basically stuffed with an hard-boiled egg. See the gigantic size? I'm adding extra and then I will trim it down. And how you would serve it would be to cut it this way and then you serve it in the gravy. So you see the yolk facing up. We'll make it smaller.
Okay.
This is my fried onion. I have just added a little smidgen of water to it so that it would grind easily. And here we go.
No.
We have 3 tomatoes. Don't feel like wasting them in food. These are fresh tomatoes from my neighbor's yard. So 3 medium tomatoes, and we're just going to grind them up.
So you're adding.
I'm just
Just adding my tomatoes and my onions that I just grounded. And I will go back and cook, mix it all together.